Hey y'all. So I'm going to talk about some cars I got. Three from eBay first. And these are some of the Johnny Lightnings. I think they're all from around 2003. That's the dates on the boxes and most of the chassis. Now I've had some of these, and they were all brand new in the clamshell. I opened them. But I got them off a seller on eBay that had a bunch of them listed. Said he combined shipping. So I picked out three, requested a invoice, and then when he came back with it, I went ahead and paid for them. So I wound up getting them for about 23 bucks a piece, which is pretty good. That's just a little bit more than the current Hobby Lobby price. I really like the body on this one. I've got a couple of the 43s from AFX, which this body is a clone of. But the main reason I wanted to get it, I had two of these Johnny Lightnings back in early 2000s. I bought at, I think I got them at KB Toys or Toys R Us. And before they transitioned to Auto World, I don't know when that happened. Some of y'all Auto World people will know, but the main reason I wanted to try these chassis again. And the first ones I bought were Dodge Vipers, like a white one with green stripes, and I can't remember what the other one, but they weren't real good at staying on the track. They were real long, and at the time I didn't feel like fiddling with them. And since then, those ones are long gone. I haven't even seen the chassis anymore. But this chassis is very similar to an original Magna Traction. You'll see it doesn't have that extra neodyne magnet on there that Auto World currently puts on. And the front wheels have those O-ring style tires on them, which on one of these cars I noticed the tires they've been in the package a real long time. One of the tires fell off. I think it was this one, the stock car. But anyway, so I bought three to save on shipping, and like I said, it totaled out around 23 bucks, which is a good deal. I like that purple Dodge too. That's pretty good. It's almost too dark to be a runner. And this one is black, but it's got a yellow nose. But I wanted to get a feel of how these perform. You can see that the pickup shoes on these are very close to the original AFX. And from what I can tell just looking at them, they have a better hinge interface back here than the current extraction chassis that I usually have to whittle on when I build the pit kits. And sometimes when I get a car where one's sticking, I have to pop it out and work on it. So I want to check these out on a track compared to the AFX and the Auto Worlds. But anyway, it gives me different bodies too. Like I said, I really like that one. I'm gonna have to look around on eBay again and find if they got some other cool ones. I did see they had some Grand Nationals, which was a cool body style, but they were all dark. And they were all very dark, like charcoal gray or black, and I generally avoid dark cars. They're not good on the track. But I might have to pull the trigger on a Grand National. Auto World don't currently have one that I know of, but I do like that body style. So that's something I'm going to experiment with later. I gotta build another test track. I want to do a high banked oval so that I can set up the power supply to just let them run on their own and see how they run. But like I said, here's a old Johnny Lightning body that I've had a long time. I think I bought it off Slot Car Central a long time ago. And I don't run it very much because why? It's a black body. I should have picked a different one, but I didn't think about it at the time. But you can look at the chassis differences. And this is a pretty old extraction chassis that I have it on. But even the current extraction chassis have that same date. I think 2006 is the mold of that chassis. But you can see the pickup differences. How that one's just flat and smooth, a little narrower. These are wider in the hinge area. I don't think I've messed with this one, but they work pretty good. This was a factory, another car that I just swapped the bodies out on. But and they all came in this type of clamshell, which says Johnny Lightning. It does say extraction, but when you see people advertise them, a lot of times they just say traction. So if you're looking to find some Johnny Lightnings, just to have a different one with no magnet on it, you know, I know most people love their magnets and they go for the higher power ones, but I'm not such a fan after running cars on a lifelike track. I think if you add too much magnetism, you're kind of diminishing your return on a higher armature. So you're making it faster, but you're slowing it down. So I don't understand that logic, but more power to you if you want to do that. I like changing things around with the stock parts. So our Hobby Lobby started getting the Datsun extraction kit in, which I've already built one. I'll bust that out here in a minute. And the F100 4 gears, and these we're seeing these at a couple of our local ones, Aiken and Augusta. And they still got the old 4 gears. A few of the vans left, a lot of the Corvettes, but I've already bought so many of them Corvettes. And I haven't seen the new Thunderjet, which is supposed to be a Volkswagen Beetle. That should be interesting. I'll buy a few of those when they come in. And they're the standard Beetle, not the one with the motor hanging out of the back, the Baja version. But so here's one of the extractions that I built. And I bought some parts off of Slot Car Central. That's where I got these aftermarket AFX. I believe they're made by BSRT. And I put them on this extraction chassis. They have a shorter throw. I'll do a side by side. So here's another extraction pit kit that I put together too. This one is all factory, wheels and all. This one, you can see the one on my left has the copper looking. It is not copper. I'm not sure what kind of metal it is, but if you look at the openings, you'll see it's got a shorter throw on the one on the left than the ones on the right. I also notice that when you're putting them on, you need a tool to, the tip of a X-Acto knife or a jeweler screwdriver to stretch that over the shoe hangers in the front. It has much more metal memory spring retention than these. These are easy to bend. They're easy to bend to how you want, and they're easy to bend to how you don't want. So the metal on these is definitely softer. You can see that the shoes are wider on the factory one, and they're narrower on the replacement BSRTs. The main improvement was the interface area in the back where that hooks into the hinge. It has less metal. It doesn't have a whole bunch of extra hanging off like some of these do that I usually wind up trimming before I stick them in there. Because if they hang up, they'll work, but you're working off of the metal is, you'll be popping a wheelie on one side. You'll notice it'll still run, but it'll sound funny, and you'll see that it doesn't softly, you don't feel the spring tension, you feel the metal tension. If that was to happen on one of these, the weight of the body would barely even press that at all. So I do like the new aftermarket, I think they're made by BSRT, AFX magnet traction replacements, which do fit on extraction without any whittling or anything. They fit straight in there, but like I said, they were much tighter in the front, getting them over the shoe hooks. But they went right back to where they were. I was worried about them getting stretched out and then I'd have to bend them back down, but that was not the case. They do have good muscle memory or metal memory, spring memory, whatever you want to call it. These do not. You can bend them out of shape pretty easy. Of course, you can just mash them right back in shape. But like I said, I changed the wheels. These are from Slot Car Central again. These white wheels are BSRT branded magnet traction replacement wheels. So the rear wheels did press on the axle fairly easy. They might have been a little bit tight, but I did get them on. They are quite true. They fit the same tires as your standard one. And then the front one here, I actually got some 4-gear front tires on there because they fit on that very well. But the only thing is these front wheels are not the exact same design as your front wheels on the Extraction. The Extraction is designed off after the original. You can see the head of that pin on one side. So one wheel has a larger diameter hole, and then you press it in to the hub on the other side. Well, I pulled these off before to change the wheelbase, and it's real easy to bend that pin, which here's one pulled out. Here's what that pin looks like. That's the actual axle pin, goes through one and presses into the other hub from an Extraction. That's from this car that I changed the wheels on. To make a new axle to press the wheels from both sides, I took a T-pin, which is very close to the same diameter of the original pin, and just dremeled off the point and then made it the right width, and then pressed those new rims on there, hubs, and it worked fine. And I just got this is that body from the pit kit. So this is what it looks like. And I picked white wheels because I don't have many cars with white wheels. I have plenty of Tycos with white wheels, but not many AFX or Auto World or Johnny Lightnings, anything like that. So, but they make them in all kinds of colors. A set of these were like $5, $4.99, something. I've got my receipt somewhere. I could look that up if y'all are interested. But so if you want to change up rims instead of having all chrome rims on all your cars, and like I said, it looks pretty good on the just plain white body, which I'm gonna use that body to test these chassis that I put together later on a track. Like I said, I did this one, and then I did one with the new and a Tyco pin. I don't know if that's better than the flag, but I know if you're running it on the pin side of the Extraction chassis, like I got going on here, you got it on the pin side and the flag up, that plastic will get distorted pretty easily. So I'm gonna run one on a Tyco pin for a while. You have to clean up that V-notch a little bit to be able to snap a Tyco pin in there, but once it's in, it fits pretty good. Then I also bought new pickups for I had 3 Lifelike bodies with, or Lifelike T chassis that I bought from a lot of used Lifelike cars. 2 were bodies I didn't have, 3 were bodies I had, or they were pretty crusty. But the pickup shoes, one was missing one of the shoes, and the other 2 had bent shoes. They were mashed, they were bowed in, concaved. I don't know, I think they were bent inward. And I don't know if somebody did that as a custom, but they weren't working real well. So I bought brand new Lifelike M chassis pickups. I got our T chassis pickups, which these are set up a lot like a HP7. They got a tang on the pickup retainer, not a spring. So as long as that don't get bent out of shape, you can replace the shoes. And these ran great on the battery. I'm gonna test them later. One, I put new tires on, but I'm gonna test them later. And then I got a recovered using used parts, narrow chassis, which I'm not short of narrow chassis. I had to order some wide chassis because I thought I was short on these, but turns out I got plenty now. It's got a new rear axle, but everything else was used and reused. And those front wheels don't even look like Tyco front wheels. I don't know what they came off of, but I got used Magnum style flat pickups for the low profile tires. And then this one I built, and one thing I bought was some new Magnum style 440, which when I say Magnum, I mean the one with a straight magnet across the bottom instead of the 440 X2. That was the first car they called the Magnum. They might call some of the X2s Magnums too, I don't know. But it's the single bar magnet going across. Typically I found have these type of shoes on it, the flat shoes, no step, and the small front tires. A lot of them were on F1s. And so I rebuilt this one, and it's got white rims. I had a new white axle I put in there with silicone tires. This one has the Viper Scale 6 ohm balanced armature. I bought a couple of these. I want to try one in a narrow and one in a wide chassis. It says factory 6 ohm, but most of the factory ones I've checked are actually like 6.5 or 6.7 ohms, just checking right on the armature. This one was dead on 6 even. So I expect this might be a pretty quick little car. And like I said, the BSRT aftermarket Tyco Magnum pickups that you can pick up, you can get these. All these pickup shoes I'm talking about today are all from Slot Car Central. Bought in, I think, 12 packs. What seemed to be a reasonable price. And but if you compare them side by side, you see the one on the left, the new aftermarket ones. The only difference is they are slightly wider. The throw on the front looks exactly the same to me, so they don't extend. They might be a little bit longer throw, to tell you the truth. It's hard to tell. It would take, me looking at it, I think the new ones have a longer throw, but I don't have a caliper or anything to measure that. But eyeballing it, I think the longer throw won't hurt anything. They have a nice spring tension, and of course this one also has brand new pickup springs. I only had one set left, so I had to order some more of those recently. I ordered them in bulk off somebody off of eBay, but like I said, everything else, they are both. One of them's a gray chassis, one of them's a black chassis. Now recently, I had a brand new black chassis, wide pan, and here it is. In one of the cars I showed you the other day, the number 24 car, went off the track, and that whole back end is broken. You can see it broke right here on the top, and it's also cracked on this bottom side. And I believe that these black chassis are more brittle. I don't know what year that car is from. I could look it up. But I've also noticed HP7 black chassis like this I've had them where the shoe hanger breaks off and where the clip that holds the shoe retainer in has broken off. So I think the black chassis material, depending on when it was made and maybe where it was made, is more fragile. These, when I was putting these together, this seemed to be more flexible than this black one. And this black one has to be pretty old because it's a single magnet chassis, right? The X2 chassis and the single wide bar single magnet that goes all the way across. They're two different chassis. Now this was an older chassis I had that I rebuilt out of pieces parts from other ones. This one is one I've had for a while, and I think it was a new old stock chassis, the gray. And but I need to run those and see what they're like. But like I said, this one busted, I think, after the car went off the track. Must have landed on the back wheels and snapped that, because I could hear just a rattling away. And but everything else in it's still new. So I'll just transfer that to one of the new wide pan chassis when I get them. And you can use these same motor in the narrow pan, wide pan, the hopper chassis. Some of these have been rebuilt from hopper motors and magnets. Some two I redid from turbo train chassis, the armature and the magnets and the pickups. Most of them are all X2s. I do have two HP X2 chassis. At least that's what they say on them. HP X2. Supposedly the pickup magnets on them are not as strong, and that's a Mattel chassis. So I'm going to try a 3.5 ohm armature when I order some in one of those with the lighter magnet. I know, like, somebody's going to tell me that's the wrong way to go, but I'm not buying stronger magnets. I'm going to put a lighter magnet with a hotter armature, and it'll be a faster car. Of course, whether or not I can keep it on the track is dependent on the track, the voltage, and you know what I'm running against. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try one of them Hardin Creek 3.5 ohm armatures, which were originally found in, I believe, HP2X chassis or HPX2 chassis, whatever that is. I don't have one in front of me right now, but that's what I'm going to do. And so I got all these chassis to test. The new track Johnny Lightning original extraction chassis, and see how those are, because I never paid attention to them first two that I just ran the crap out of, and they come off the track all the time, but they were cheap enough at the time I didn't really care. And then I also was buying Lifelikes during that time, and those were all great performers right out of the package. So that's about it for right now. If I think any other new cars I got, I'll show them when I do the track test. But y'all take care. And like I said, Slot Cars Central has those alternate pickups if you need them for extractions, magnetractions. If you got some and you don't feel like whittling on the originals and want to try those, I don't know. I'm going to try them. I'll let you know how they work. Lifelike, the Lifelike pickups I got were, it said they were original Lifelikes, so I just bought a bunch of them. I had plenty of the ones for the M chassis, but not T chassis. So that's about it, y'all. I'll see you next time.